For 8 years, the payment went out on the first of every month. $2,400. Automatic transmit rent. It wasn't a glamorous arrangement, but it felt responsible. After graduate school, I moved back home to stabilize my finances. My parents had recently refinanced, they said. The market had shifted. Mortgage rates were unpredictable. Housing in our area had climbed. This is fair market. My father told me the day we agreed on the number. You'd pay more for less somewhere else. I believed him. The basement had its own ended bathroom. I told friends I was being practical. Saving money. Helping my parents carry the mortgage while I built my career. When they went on vacation twice a year, I assumed they were careful planners. When they remodeled the kitchen 3 years in, I assumed they'd refinanced again. I never asked to see the numbers. Last month, I was pulling weeds along the driveway when our neighbor, Mr. Harris, wandered over. He's lived on this street since before I was born. Your parents must be so proud, he said casually. Off what? I asked, brushing dirt from my hands. Paying that place off so early. Not many folks clear a mortgage before 60. I smiled automatically. What do you mean, paying it off? He frowned slightly, surprised. They had a little celebration back in, 8, 9 years ago. Said they'd made the final payment. Smart timing too, before rates jumped. 8 or 9 years ago, the same year I moved in. I nodded as if I understood, but my ears were ringing. That night, I logged into the county property records website. It took less than 10 minutes to find the deed. No outstanding liens, no recorded mortgage. Date of satisfaction 8 years and 4 months ago. I stared at the screen longer than necessary, hoping I'd misread it. I didn't confront them the next morning. I didn't even mention it that week. Instead, I pulled my bank statements, 96 payments, $2,400 each, and 2,400. I told myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe a home equity line. Maybe private lending not recorded traditionally. Maybe something I didn't understand. I hired a forensic accountant. That decision surprised even me. It felt dramatic, distrustful. But the alternative was asking them directly, and accepting whatever answer came back. 2 weeks later, I sat across from a woman named Elaine in a quiet office that smelled faintly of paper and coffee. She laid out a folder. The property was owned outright prior to your first payment. She said plainly. No active mortgage since then. She slid another document forward. I also traced the transfers from your account. They were deposited into a brokerage account in your parents' names. Regular monthly investments. Conservative portfolio. I didn't speak for a moment. They told me it was for the mortgage. I said finally. Elaine's expression didn't change. There is no evidence of mortgage-related debt during the period you've been paying. I drove home slowly that day. The house looked the same. The new kitchen gleamed through the window. My mother was inside, rearranging flowers. I asked them to sit down after dinner. I placed copies of the property record and Elaine's summary on the table. I ran into Mr. Harris. I began. He mentioned the house was paid off before I moved in. Silence. My father glanced at the papers but didn't reach for them. We invested the money. My mother said quickly. For stability. You told me it was covering the mortgage. It was easier to explain that way, she replied. Easier? For 8 years? I asked. You were living here? My father said. You been at market rate? I asked quietly. No one answered. We were saving it. My mother added. For you. Eventually. The brokerage account was not in my name. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse them of theft. I simply let the numbers sit between us. I need space to think. I said. And I'll be moving out. My father stiffened. You're overreacting. I don't think I am. Over the next month, I consulted a real estate attorney. Not to sue immediately but to understand my position. The word misrepresentation entered the conversation. So did constructive fraud. When I mentioned that to my parents, calmly, without threat, their tone shifted. What do you want? My father asked. Acknowledgement would have been enough once. Now I wanted clarity. We negotiated. Not in anger, but in installments. They agreed to transfer a portion of the investment account to me, framed as reimbursement for says contributions. It wasn't the full amount. I accounted for utilities, maintenance, living expenses. We documented everything. The day I signed the lease for my own apartment, I felt something unfamiliar. Not triumph, not revenge. Just autonomy. I opened my own brokerage account the following week. My parents and I still speak, carefully. Conversations are shorter. Financial matters are explicit now. No vague language about helping or teaching. Sometimes I wonder whether they believed they were protecting me. Teaching discipline. Building something in my name eventually. But they never told me the truth. And that, more than the money, is what changed the structure of our relationship. The first of this month came and went without a transfer leaving my account. The quiet felt expensive, and earned.